There's a lot to love about Final Fantasy X. That's why some of my viewers may remember I started a Let's Play of it that unfortunately fell through because one day I forgot to hit the record button and played like 4 hours. Anyways, in lieu of a Let's Play, I felt I should at least do the game justice with a review. So I'll start off by saying that Final Fantasy X was a huge deal when it came out. Not only was it the first installment of the series on the PS2, but it was the first game to really use the graphical capabilities of the system. The story centers around a guy named Tidus that's thrown into a future that looks more like the past. He teams up with a young summoner named Yuna and tries to help her complete a pilgrimage of gathering summons in order to defeat a huge monster named Sin that terrorizes the world of Spira. They throw in a love story and plenty of other elements such as religion and racism as well. It's a really good story that's told quite well even though Tidus' immature attitude can sour moments. Square also made a lot of changes to the core gameplay of what had been the norm of the Final Fantasy games. Thankfully, most of the changes were for the better in this title, but some may see them as the leading cause to poor decisions of future titles. One of the largest changes is that there aren't levels in the game, and instead of experience points, you get ability points. These are spent to move your character along their respective progression path on the enormous sphere grid. The sphere grid works wonderfully for a casual playthrough of the game, but for those that grind a lot in the end game, since all the characters are on the same grid, they eventually will have all the same abilities and stats. Another change, one that I like, is the flow of battle. There is no active turn-based system. It's straight up old school turn-based. However, you can swap your characters from your reserve at any time and without losing a turn, which is awesome and can really add depth and strategy to the combat. Not all of the changes are for the better though. The game is very linear, there is no world map, and even when you do gain access to the airship, it's basically just a menu that lets you choose which area to go to and you're instantly put there. This is a trait that unfortunately has seemed to spread to just about every JRPG made after this game, and while some handle it much better by having vast areas to explore, most just end up feeling like you're playing the game a section at a time and not in a living, breathing world. The only part of the game I don't really enjoy is Blitzball, a fictional underwater basketball soccer hybrid sport. Sadly, it's a necessary part of the game if you want to get Wakka's limit breaks, or overdrives as they're called in this game, and his ultimate weapon as well. Final Fantasy X, in my opinion, is really one of the last great JRPGs in the series, I'm not going to go into details on how I feel about 12 and 13 in this review, as I plan on making videos for them at some point, but this title is a lot of fun to play. For anyone watching this that may not have played the game and has a PlayStation 3, Square Enix will soon be releasing an HD version of 10 as well as the spin-off game 10-2, so I would suggest you hold out and get that version, as I think it will be packed together, and 10-2 is also a great game. Unfortunately, I do not have a PS3, and PS4 will not be backwards compatible, which just stinks. Nevertheless, Final Fantasy X kicks ass no matter which platform you play it on, so I suggest you check it out.
This is a shoe puff.
Whoa! Let's ride!
10 years ago,
Ah, a history lesson?
Jack saw his first shoe puff here. Surprised, he drew his blade and struck it.
Why?
He was drunk, thought it was a fiend.
Oh, brother.
Rides the shoe puff? All